when I do step out, I'm typically what some may say overdressed, but for me, it's like my personal level of comfort. I always get a lot of compliments, and so I wanted to be able to be like, "Hey, where you get that suit from?" And I'm like, I have a custom suit business, and this is one of my pieces.
What up, though, Black Friday family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I need you to check out previous episodes, send them to a friend. I need you to subscribe on all major streaming platforms and tap that like and subscribe button on YouTube as well. And then make sure that you give us a follow on those streaming platforms also. All right, now that we got that out the way, I got the homie Mario McLean in the building. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, bro? I'm doing great, man. How about you?
I'm doing pretty well. It's good to have you here. The founder, CEO of The Sweet Life. Do you call yourself CEO, or what's your working title for The Sweet Life?
I just say founder. I feel like CEO, you got to have like multiple people under you or whatever. So I ain't at that stage. I'm just say founder.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. So founder of The Sweet Life, leveraging your passion for fashion and then also being able to offer men different options in terms of fashion, accessories, things like that. How does one even get into that and become in my opinion, one of Detroit's best dressed young brothers? How does that journey even start?
Oh man, I appreciate it. I guess I can start from the very beginning. So being born and raised in Detroit, I spent about 5 years growing up in foster care. And so it was just a way. I always knew that I was different, just from everybody, from the way I carried myself, having to grow up at such a young age. And I was very big on my image. And as I got older, I really fell in love with wearing suits. I just felt like people would treat me with a lot more respect. As a young man, I would feel a lot more confident in myself. And so, as I got out of college, I wrote a book called Every Day as an Interview. And it's just a quote that I live by. I try to treat every day as if I have an interview to go to. When you think about it, right, you dress nice for an interview, you present yourself in that way. And so for me, that was my mantra of showing up as the best version of myself. Saying all that to say, when I do step out, I'm typically what some may say overdressed, but for me, it's like my personal level of comfort. I always get a lot of compliments. And so I wanted to be able to be like, "Hey, where you get that suit from?" And I'm like, I have a custom suit business, and this is one of my pieces. So that's kind of short story of how I made it to the beginning to where I'm at today.
And for you, so we went to high school together. We didn't necessarily know each other in high school, but got a chance to know each other over the years. When did fashion become a thing for you, or just paying attention to that, or were you always on top of your fashion game?
No, man. Like I said, being in foster care, I was poor, man. I used to be stealing clothes from my cousins and stuff like that. So I remember that. But I think in college, like one of my biggest pet peeves, right? You would go to like a homecoming or icebreaker, and I used to hate when people had the exact same thing that I have on. So like for me, the way I dress is typically like vibrant or just over the top, where I know nobody is going to have what I got on. And so that's kind of what led me to, getting into that space. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
So I want to know more of the inner workings of Sweet Life and how you are able to do this every day, because you're also a husband, you also a father, you also have a career and have built a pretty solid resume. So we're going to get into that, but I want to introduce you to my favorite part of Black Fridays, which is Freestyle Fridays.
Okay.
So, I know you came in here.
Rap?
Yeah, you about to rap.
Okay.
You came here with the suit on. You got to give us some bars.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
No, yeah. No, you don't got to rap. It's just rapid fire questions. They're all about you. So I just need you to answer each one and answer honestly.
Bet.
All right. So who do you feel like is the best dressed fictional character? So it could be TV show, it could be cartoon, any of that. Like fictional character, who you feel like is best dressed?
Best dress, man. I got a lot of people out there, man. I'm gonna say my guy Ryan Clark on Sports Center, man. He Andre Julius, he pretty much dresses him or whatever the case. So I think Ryan Clark for sure.
So you know the stylist too. Who put him in the fit. Yeah. Ryan be having it on, most definitely.
Yes, sir.
Most definitely. What is your favorite thing about the city? So if you had to introduce somebody who's not from Detroit to Detroit, what's the first thing you're showing them or talking to them about?
First thing I'm talking about, I feel like everybody immediate answer is Coney Island, which for me is not. Like, I feel like the one thing I like about Detroit is everybody is a hustler at spirit, right? Everybody got their own grind, kind of like get out the mud type of mentality. And so like just that aspect, it resonates a lot well with me as an individual. So I try to, let people know like we got a lot, it's a certain way we carry ourselves. We got a lot of grit. So that would be my answer to that.
Most definitely. Man. And you also a fellow black man with an MBA. So what made you want to get an MBA?
Yeah, good question. What made me want to get an MBA? So for those that don't know me, I married my high school sweetheart. And I know that once I got out of college, we were going to get married, have kids. And so I knew that I wanted to put myself in the best position to either make the most money or just be qualified for many roles. So I decided to, after 2 years of being in the working field, go through school while working full time, get out the way. And that way, whatever my career path looked like, if it was applying for a role, I will always be like qualified, essentially. So that was my reason for getting my MBA.
That's dope.
Yeah.
What do you like? What do you love about being a dad?
Man, a lot. What I really love about being a dad, I got 3 young kids, 6, 4, and 2. It's definitely challenging, but like I mentioned earlier, growing up in foster care, right? Like one of the things that I was always looking forward to was being a parent, just to see like and provide to my kids like what I didn't have growing up. And so I'm kind of living like vicariously through my kids right now, like enjoying all of the moments that I didn't necessarily have. So like that aspect, although it is tough, like I think like, people might look on Instagram and be like, man, they making it look easy. It's not easy at all. But I think obviously with God, everything is possible and we got the strength to do whatever we put our minds to. So,
most definitely. Yeah. Do you read a lot? Do you consider yourself a reader?
Not necessarily, but what I have been doing, like last year, I read the whole Bible. So that is an accomplishment. And this year, I'm pretty much doing the same thing. Like I'm on a different Bible plan, kind of reading it in like chronological order. So just kind of, growing my relationship with God. So like the Bible is pretty much where I've been, heavily focused in or what have you. So.
I love that. That's fire, man. And amazing way to end Freestyle Friday. Yes. So congrats to you. You passed, even though you didn't rap. But it's all good. We'll get you on the Black Friday mixtape.
My God.
So tell me more about the Sweet Life in terms of when you decided to, where were you in life when you decided to actually build this thing and take it seriously? Because from what I've known about you for a while is that you've been in this space. You've been around that space, but learning about what the business journey looked like. 'Cause I know you talk to young people about dressing to impress and just about life in general. And then now having the business. Where were you in life? How did you build it? What was your thought process around that?
Yeah, so when I was at Michigan State, I was a campus ambassador for Men's Warehouse. So I used to go around campus giving presentations to like fraternities and different student organizations about how to dress for success, right? Like what color suits to wear, like when you first start in your wardrobe, just kind of some of the basics. So that was something that really resonated with me early on. But as I got out of college, right, like I just always had like a passion for fashion, if you will. And like the name Sweet Life, it was just, like whenever you're passionate about something, I feel like it's always going to be on your mind. Like I used to be waking up out the middle of the night, like it's just Sweet Life just be in the back of my head. So that's why I knew it was a calling from God. And so I started my business back in March 2021, like I got the LLC or what have you. And my original vision was to just do like men's suit accessories. So I was was going to do like a subscription box, so custom socks, ties, or what have you. Did that. I didn't launch anything. I launched my first product in 2022, the end of 22. So did that. Then I went through Capital Connect, and as we were doing more research, I'm like, my ultimate goal is to do like custom suits, right? Like I just wanted to kind of get into that space. And so Capital Connect actually allowed me to focus more time and energy on the business. And so through that, I was able to work under people that already had like their own custom suit business to learn about the industry, just do more research. I did that for a bit, but I didn't necessarily really like it because I feel like as entrepreneurs, you always want to put yourself in the best position and always kind of be in control. So last year, I had pretty much mapped out the business how I wanted to, from everything on the backside, as far as taking care of everything structurally, finding the right, manufacturers or what have you. So last year was my technically first full year of business, just focusing on custom suits. And then today, year 2, I'm a lot more knowledgeable in the business. I bumped my head along the way. I made some mistakes, but I think I'm definitely on the right path. So.
And what do you offer in terms of services and then also actual retail products?
Yep. So everything that we do is made to measure and custom. So I don't have any inventory outside of like accessories, so like custom sock boxes. But we offer as custom suits for both men and women. We have pretty much anything from a clothing perspective. So custom shirts, custom trousers, ties, bow ties. I got a couple young ladies that are looking to get prom dresses. So we do dresses as well, track suits, overcoats, pretty much anything that you could think of, we're able to bring to life.
And so are you a one-man band in terms of you do the consultation measurements, you go and build the dresses, suits, whatever it is that people buying from you, or how does your business process work?
Yeah, it's a good question. So my role, what I do is I'm more so like the brains behind everything, right? So let's say you're looking to get a custom suit. My main goal is to figure out what exactly you're looking for from a color perspective, fabric, what the event is about. So I'm getting a better understanding, almost like a consultant, if you will, trying to figure out like your style. Some people are more flashy, some people are more reserved. Once I got an idea of the concept that you're looking with, then it's my job to actually figure out the design and providing, my expertise of like, hey, I wouldn't necessarily use this fabric, or I wouldn't recommend these colors. I then come out, I take your measurements, and then we align on the final design. As far as the constructing of the suits, I have a team of tailors that take care of that. Okay. So I'm not the one that's physically stitching or sewing the suits. But again, my job throughout the process is to really be a consultant, make sure I capture the design that you're looking for, and just provide customer service. This is really a service business, if you will. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where my main role within this process is.
And were you able to identify kind of like your role as a consultant through your own experiences with getting suits? Because obviously, you said that you dress to impress always. So how did that come about for you to decide, like, this is how I want to operate my business? Let me be the consultant. I don't have to do everything.
Yeah, so it's a lot of communication that goes when someone wants a custom piece, right? So you got to be big on, again, satisfying the customer. And through that, it's about asking questions, following up. And so through my experiences of either working under individuals, right, like there has been times where maybe a piece didn't come exactly how I would have liked it to, or what have you. And part of that could just be communication, because again, at the end of the day, I'm not the one that's physically doing the suits. That's why it's my job to get everything that I need so that when I pass information along, it gets constructed the right way. And so with that, I knew that I majored in communication at State. So like communicating is one of my biggest goals. And so like for me, that's why I wanted to be on my own, where I could be, again, in the driver's seat and being holding myself accountable and really focusing on the customers, because that's what's going to bring back repeat business, right? You do a good piece for somebody else, now their friends are coming back or what have you. So, yeah.
So Mario, I definitely want to learn a little bit more about prom and prom season to be here in pretty much no time, based on where we're at right now in the year. For the young ladies, young men that you're working with, what is that process typically like in terms of working with those young folks and making sure that they stepping out right for prom?
Yeah, so typically, again, a lot of a lot of my clients from prom have been word of mouth. So right now I'm in a season where it's just basically everybody flooding the DMs. Hey man, I see you did this prom suit last year. What's your price? What's your packages? What's your process? So I'm asking those questions again. I'm figuring out like what their style is. This year, I've been having a lot of female clients that have been wanting suits, but we also do dresses as well. So again, I think I mentioned this earlier, but I got 2 young ladies right now that are looking to get prom dresses. And so that's important too, like, because I think when we launch our business, we have a target audience. So when I launched, I was thinking of focusing mainly on men, but really female clients have been like the biggest voice for the brand. And so like, hopefully this year, as I do more female clients, that'll open up the door to go in a different avenue, whether it's focusing on dresses or women's fashion. But again, the reason I focus on men's fashion is because that's what I'm more well versed in. But definitely we specialize in both men and women. So
how different is the process for prom in terms of doing a suit for a young man or a dress for a young lady?
It's no different. Again, I take your body measurements, and then again, bring the fabric books out, go over the style. But it's no different. At the end of the day, once I got your measurements, anything is possible. Yeah, essentially.
Or how different are the clients when they coming to you and telling you what they want versus like how wild do their imaginations get?
Yeah, so with prom in particular, it's funny because obviously like people in prom are 16, 17. And as I get old, I'm be realizing like, how young, dealing with kids so much. So a lot of times I spend communicating with their parents. And then when I get to the consultation, like the young lady or young man, like, I don't want that. So now I'm trying to figure out, how to best meet everybody's, come to a mutual agreement or what have you. But really with young men, I think the biggest piece is just getting them to understand like how to dress and like what to pair your suit with. Like they want to wear like designer belts, the gym shoes. Like you don't necessarily need all that. Like if you getting a custom suit, obviously you're spending hundreds of dollars on a suit. Like let that be the start of the show. You really could wear some BS for the shoes, honestly, because that's not the focus for the day. Female clients, I think pretty easy. They normally have a concept in mind, and so. The one thing that I struggled with last year was not having like the tools to be able to show people like how it's going to look before it's made. Yeah. And I think that's probably with anybody business. So I've been really trying to focus on like showing them what it's going to look like based off of, hey, this is what you want. This is what we agreed to. Now do you like it? And then from there, we might, I don't necessarily like that color. So I think it's really a matter of being able to show them the vision before it's created, because once it's created, it's nothing that we could do. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's the challenging part and fun at the same time.
For sure. For the young men, do you recommend they put on what color buffs they put on when they get the suit from you?
That's all for them, man. Like I like seeing how people, piece everything together. Like last year, I did a football player at Southfield Prime. He got a lot of traction. He had the chain on, bro. Okay, I see. So, I mean, again, my job is to give you the suit. How you pair it, that's up to you. You know what I mean? So.
For sure. What are some of the things you enjoy about what it is that you do? Like, do you have any success stories with some of your clients where you might have took somebody from, I forgot what's them extreme makeovers they be doing for people? Like, have you had any situations like that, or just any people that you can think of that you enjoyed working with and you saw the transformation?
Yeah. So I'll say like this year, like we was talking earlier, right? Like my wife, she works at University of Michigan Credit Union, and she wore one of the custom suits we did. And like at that event, like we were getting a lot of feedback, like, oh, I want one. So next month I have a consultation set up with the CEO of University of Michigan Credit Union, which is a really big deal. The day prior to that, one of our coworkers, came over and bought 3 suits from me, right? And it was more so, this was the first time somebody ever said, like, just kind of do you, like, didn't give me like a concept. Like she wanted a University of Michigan theme suit and then a Detroit Lions theme suit because they're partners through the credit union. So I'm like, bet, like I'm gonna kind of bring my idea to life. So those are like immediate success stories starting off, right? Like there's been people who trusted me to do their weddings, which is a huge deal, right? Like, you know what I mean? You got to make sure the colors match. And so I've done a couple of weddings. Last October was the one I was able to actually attend the wedding in person and see the piece and, build connections or what have you. So I enjoy that. prom season was big for me last year. I did 9 proms. And so I was able to go to like the send-offs and meet the families and, hey, it's the guy who did the suit. And so it was just really fulfilling because when you have a business, right, when you have a concept and then when you actually do the work and you see the end result, it's more fulfilling. And I'm sure you can attest to that as well. And so like those are some of the success stories that come to mind for sure.
So talk to me about the wedding piece, because I had a situation with my wedding where everything, I mean, 90% of everything went smoothly, which I'm forever grateful for. But in terms of my suit, I literally almost got the wrong jacket. And thank God I had questions because I couldn't see my wife's dress for, superstitious, traditional reasons. And then I had, they ordered me a jacket. And then what I thought it was going to look like, it was kind of like it was almost yellow versus it being kind of like an ivory or off white. And I'm like, something ain't right here. So I say all that to say, obviously mistakes happen and things like that happen. So have you ran into anything like that where it's like you had to fix something that might have not necessarily been your fault, or the customer wasn't to the customer's liking that you had to account for?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's part of the growing pains in the business. That wedding in October, the good thing was he was actually my first client last year. So he, we wanted to get his suit out the way first thing in January. And this, again, when I was very early into the business, like I had like a super small measuring tape, right? Like the cheapest thing I could find on Amazon. So part of it was me didn't take the measurements the right way. And I remember his pants were a little bit too short. And so, I was able to, obviously we had a lot of time because turnaround times of a custom suit is anywhere between 3 to 6 weeks, right? And that's the biggest challenge if somebody wants something immediately, like I'm not able to operate in that space just given the turnaround time. And so, pant sizes were incorrect, remeasured them, offered them a free custom shirt as well as a way of, again, satisfying the customer. I want to make sure I'm keeping them satisfied. Was able to turn it around pretty smoothly. And then at the wedding, the missus, thanked me for the suit. So everybody was happy at the end of the day, but mistakes happen, right? Like with I think it's just about how do you go about that, right? I could have been like, hey man, no refunds, you on your own. What it is. You know what I mean? But like, I appreciate the fact anybody is willing to trust me with a special day like that. And so it's my job to make sure they're satisfied. So,
for sure. And thank God the person who I got my suit done from, they're like trained and phenomenal tailor themselves. So they were able to take a suit and then customize it for me, and it ended up looking better than what I actually ordered. So it worked out in the end. So to your point, like having that accountability, actually being able to listen what the problem is, fix what the problem is, definitely important. So I got to ask you now, I want to talk to the fellas. Okay. And this is more so my own personal consultation with you, so just bear with me. But I want to know, for the broader audience listening and watching, for a guy, and let's get more specific, for black men, young black men, what's the importance of having or developing your own style?
That's a good question. So when it comes to style, the first thing you got to think about is it's about the fit of the suit or whatever you wear, whatever you're wearing. But it's important to dress for your body type. Right? Like I'm a slimmer brother, so I like my clothes slim fit. Like if you are like, let's say, obviously I deal with all sizes of clients. If you're a bigger client, like they like wearing clothes a little baggy, a little loose. Again, it doesn't matter how you dress. It's about the fit of the suit. When it comes to like the younger brothers, a lot of things that I run into with proms is they don't understand that when they're getting a custom suit, they want to wear they feel like they gotta have like designer gym shoes, and it's kind of throwing the suit off a bit because, again, a suit you're supposed to wear with like some nice dress shoes or what have you. So I think people look at people they see on TV and they feel like they gotta have a designer on to look nice, where really it's all about how you piece things together. And again, it's important about the fit at the end of the day.
In the line of work that you do, you have mentioned that you started working with young men, because that's obviously what you know, but also you work with ladies as well. So how did that come about? Do you remember your first woman client and how that whole process started, and then let you know I could dive into this market too?
Yeah, my first female client, ironically, was my wife. Okay. So her birthday last March, I had a suit that I had made, and then I'm like, you know, your birthday is coming up. Let's get something that match. And so that was like my first female client, and then from there, it was really a matter of just promoting the business, right? And then you get the questions of, hey, do you do female clothing as well? My other female client was, I'm trying to even remember. I can't remember, but I know they wanted a suit. And I think what happens is, because I promote suits so much, that's what females feel as if that's what they want. But we also could do dresses as well. And so it's a matter of me voicing that to them and letting them know that we can create that product, because again, we do more than suits. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And is there a difference in terms of styling men and women? I know your process is you have a process on the back end, obviously, that works for you, but just in terms of what they are looking for, measurements, style, is there a difference in terms of working with men and women? Because I remember when I was in grad school, one of my classmates he was a guy, he wanted to solve the problem of women not having pockets on their clothes. And I never really thought about it until he said something. I'm like, damn, they really don't have pockets on their clothes like that, which is crazy. But yeah, I digress. But yeah, is there a difference in terms of styles, fits, all that type of stuff?
Far as measurements are concerned, the biggest difference is understanding like how are you planning on wearing a piece. So for example, like the young lady who I just did her her birthday suit with, like she's like, hey, I'm not going to wear a bra with this, right? So like I know from a measurement perspective, like I can maybe take her measurements a lot more closer to the body. I'm not going to give her room for assurance because it's going to be a little bit too loose in the chest area. And so really that's the biggest piece of understanding how they want to wear it. Like some females may want flare at the bottom, right? So I'm not going to take the measurements to the ankle because when it come out, it's going to be too short, right? And so again, everything that I do is about understanding my customer, and that's why I'm going to ask a lot of questions, probably a lot more questions than you've ever been asked when it comes to clothing, but it's just important, right? Like when it comes to pants. Some of the questions I asked, people don't even know was a feature on the suit, right? Like, hey, you want belt loops or you want adjustable side tabs? Are you planning on wearing this with a belt or what have you? Do you want a pocket square, a pocket, right? Like some of the basics, people don't know. They're like, hey, man, I never thought about getting asked that question. So it's just a matter of letting them know like what the options are, because there's a ton of features that you can customize when it comes to custom clothing, and it really just opens up the creative juices. So I enjoy clients that have like extremely huge concepts and can be overly creative. Like I remember a prom I did last year, man. We had the cape, every rope. It was, hey, I'm like, hey, I'm all for it, man.
And so can you talk to, for men, why is it important to get a custom suit? Because for me right now, my thing is like I'll go to a suit shop, I'll see a suit that I like, I'll get it tailored, and then obviously, you know, I'm off wearing the suit, doing whatever I got to do. But to a custom suit, like you're building it from scratch. So I'm curious if you could lend us your expertise as to why you should invest in a custom suit. You know, obviously it takes time to build up your closet of those, but why should you consider investing in a custom suit?
Yeah, the number one reason why you should consider investing in a custom suit is because, like I mentioned, everybody is different sizes. When you purchase a suit off the rack, it's manufactured and it's meant to, like, let's say, for example, I'm a 38 regular, like, or it used to be, I'm like a 40 now. But when I get a 38 regular, it might fit me in the chest area, but my sleeves might be too short. If I get a 40, it might fit me in the chest area, but my sleeves are going to be too long, right? So the average suit in a store, depending on the quality, anywhere between $150, $300. But then it's not going to fit you. So now you got to take it to get it adjusted, right? So it's going to be, depending on how much material, fabric you need to take it out, probably another $50-ish or so dollars. So the price that you're going to buy a suit off the rack, get manufactured, you really could buy a custom suit, because now you have the ability to do whatever you want. Pick your own fabric, pick the color of buttons, pick the lining, and it's just a lot more personalized to yourself. But at the end of the day, like whenever you buy something off the rack, it's made to fit multiple people, not for you. And that's the beauty of a custom suit, because it's literally made specifically for your body.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, so I was going to say, how do you find your suit guy? But then that's literally why you exist.
Correct.
So you
that is correct.
You become people's suit guy, essentially.
Yes.
But for you, did you find a suit guy early on, or did you kind of like go through different trials and tribulations? How did you build your closet of how you want to style yourself?
Yeah, man. So, like I said, I always dress up. So I would literally buy suits, like offline, or in the stores, and I just sit on them. Like I just had suits in my closet, no event in mind, but I knew like when I go out, like, oh, I'm gonna pull that one out. And even to this day, man, like I be getting custom suits made, and I haven't even I got suits marinating in the closet, right? But I think it's important, right? Like I know I'm gonna wear them at the end of the day. And even before I started this business, like I gave away 29 suits. Like I donated them to Voyager Academy. They had a nonprofit there called Ladders of Hope, and like it's funny looking back because some of those suits, like those students wore them for their prom, like out of my closet, and that's when I ended up starting a custom suit business. So it's just important to have those pieces because again, you might have a job interview, church, right? If people go to church, and you can just always pull it out and just wear it for whatever reason you need to. So,
and when you are styling, when you're getting custom suits, how do you kind of figure out your style? Is it more so based off the event or like the occasion, or do you base it off of, well, this is how I want to dress every day? Yeah.
So my immediate thing, I'm gonna always base it off what the client wants. There's sometimes I might have to like redirect them, like, nah, I wouldn't necessarily do that. But the first thing I want to know, like, what is the event for, right? Again, secondly, I want to know what is your style. So I'm big on pictures. Like I'm a visual person. So once you give me a picture, like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, I want to do XYZ, we good. So as long as I can physically see the piece we're putting together, from there, like I'm able to, everything on my phone is suits, man. Like I'm waking up in the middle of the night, see something online, I'm saving that, right? So I got an eye for a lot of things immediately, but again, I need to know like what is the look you're trying to accomplish, and then from there, it's pretty straightforward for me.
So to my brothers who trying to ball on the budget, how can you do this? How can you do the budget friendly way of doing this in terms of whether it's a custom suit or just styling yourself, picking out the right suits and the right fits? Because like you said, you ain't always have it, but you know, you got it now, and you go show that you got it. But in terms of the people who are trying to figure it out on the budget so they can build their way up, do you got any tips to how
absolutely.
to do that?
So if you don't have, let's say you have zero suits in the closet, right? Like the first thing I would recommend is you want to get like these 3 basic suits. You want to get an all black suit, a navy suit, and either a charcoal gray suit. Because what happens is like you can then like like do suit separate, so you can use the black blazer with the blue pants. So you kind of are able to create a lot more combinations with those basic suits in your wardrobe, and then from there you build. So like for me, I'm almost opposite, because like I like wearing like vibrant colors. So I really don't even have like an all black suit, because I'm not a plain individual. So you see me, I'm checkered prints, plaids, like, you know what I mean? So it just depends on the style. But for somebody starting off, I would definitely recommend getting a solid suit, then transitioning to something with stripes or patterns or what have you. So
now on that same budget, where do you recommend they start shopping at?
Yeah, so if you're a slim fit, like I like buying suits from Express, and if I'm really gonna drop a gem, Express Outlet, that's where it's at, right? So Express Outlet, typically their suits run about $299 retail, but a lot of Express Outlets you can get your suits for like 70-80% off. So typically, like if I'm in there, I'm shopping around, like I done got a suit from Express that was $299, I paid like $99 or what have you. So Express Outlet for sure. Zara. Online, I used to buy a lot of my suits from this site called Boohoo Man, which sounds crazy, but they got a lot of fire on there for the lows. ASOS.com, ASOS.com got a lot of nice suits. Men's Warehouse, like, but again, those I'm not necessarily a Men's Warehouse guy, but Men's Warehouse has some nice fire. Suit Depot, or what have you. So just to name a few.
Would you recommend Fashion Nova? I got the suit off of there for our engagement photo shoot, and it worked. I got it tailored. It looked good. I still wear it to this day.
Yeah, like so.
I wore it the last time I saw you.
Yeah, I mean you can, bro. Like at the end of the day, whatever you buy offline, as long as you get it tailored, like you're good. Like I done bought suits from what is it? I call it Shein or Shane.
Yeah, I think it's Shein. Yeah.
I done bought suits off of there, but the thing with those type of suits, like the quality is like very flimsy.
Right.
So you're not gonna have those suits for a long time. But I mean, because I wear suits often, like sometimes I might get a blazer here, piece it with like some pants I already have, or what have you. So it just depends on the budget.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And can you talk to the ladies in terms of either balling on the budget or actually trying finding stuff, tips to find stuff that fit you and your style?
Yeah, so like, man, I feel like personally, and again, it's just from my perspective, women clothing, like it's easy to have like swag and finna like clothes is super cheap from what I see when I'm in the stores. I mean, like I feel like as a woman, you have a lot more like room to be creative, make your own brand, put your own like swag on something, accessorize it. A lot of women can accessorize things, right? Like wearing a purse, wearing the right heels with it. So again, I can't speak. I'm not a woman, but I do feel like you got a lot more flexibility and options at a more cost-effective price than us guys do.
So they got a head start.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's kind of hard to mess up your fits and your style. Like
Definitely.
it got to be intentional almost.
Yes,
for sure.
All accessories with the like you can do the red lipstick, red bags, all black outfit. You good to go. You know what I mean? So.
Keep it cute, ladies. Keep it cute, ladies.
No, that's facts.
So I wanted to switch gears a little bit and talk to you about, I know that you have had philanthropic work that you've done in the past. Like you said, you gave away suits before. You also are intentional about speaking to young people about just life, striving for success, your journey overall. What fueled you wanted to work with young people and be involved in kind of like their development and their growth? Yeah,
so that's a good question. Pretty much, and again, all of my responses might be similar, but it just stems from my childhood, growing up, not necessarily having positive role models in my life, and just being able to overcome that adversity. I think that that's important for people who are, young men like myself, to see somebody who was once in their shoes, not silver spoon or what have you, and managed to reach success. I think it's very important to see that, even in like corporate America, right? Like if you plan on getting promoted, you got to see somebody in that role for you to feel like it's attainable. Right. And so like foster care and overcoming that was big for me. When I was at Michigan State, I was our student commencement speaker, and that was another way for me to just show like, I believe at the time when I graduated, 3% of foster youth actually graduate from college. So for me to, beat those odds and then be speaking in front of, thousands of people was big. And that's, again, one reason why I'm big on giving back, because there's been people in my life who I've met along the way who have poured into me. And so I feel like it's just my way of paying it forward. Like I've been a Big Brother through Big Brother, Big Sister program, a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. I'm part of their Kappa League program where we train young men from 9th to 12th grade, teach them leadership skills. So it's really a part of who I am. Any teacher from middle school, I'm going up to Michigan State next month. Like I'm always paying it forward from like programs that I've been a part of and just sharing my experiences so that somebody who's looking to either do what I do or would like to do something similar, they can learn from my mistakes and have a faster trajectory than what I had. So I'm just big on sharing lived experiences with others.
That's amazing. How did you see the light at the end of the tunnel as a youngin coming up through foster care and given your background? Who motivated you, or what motivated you? Like, how did you see a brighter future?
Yeah, man, I would say, honestly, I don't necessarily think I saw light at the end of the tunnel, but I knew that as long as I kept putting one foot in front of the other, like it would work out. And so I knew that like education was going to be like my way out, just because it's something that nobody could take away from you. Right. So I was always like in school, like even going through like all of the circumstances, being homeless and still showing up for school, like everything was normal. Like that takes a lot to like overcome. But again, I felt like my education was my way out. And so I think that was I guess that's my best answer for that.
For sure.
Yeah.
And have you seen the impact that you've been able to have on any youth that might be in a similar situation that you have? Do you keep in contact with any of them or anything like that? Any mentees?
1,000%. So when I graduated at MSU, one of my professors, who's still one of my lifelong mentors, her and her husband, they started a endowed scholarship in my name. So I have a scholarship at MSU. And so far there's been
I'll say that one more time for people who ain't hear you.
I got a scholarship at MSU, Mario McLean endowed scholarship. It's for any any freshman who's acquiring to be in a business college. And you got to kind of have similar things that I had, right? Like have a willingness to work hard, have a certain GPA. But anyway, there's been 3 recipients of that award, and I've been in connection with all of them. Right now, I got a young individual there. At MSU, we had the time to meet over the summer, connect, learn a little bit more about him. When I'm on campus, I have an office in Lansing. I tend to check in with them, and then I met people along the way from just going back, volunteering. Typically, it's individuals of color that look like me, because when you go up there, it's only like 1 or 2 of them. So they'll always reach out to me after class, and we'll connect, and they just check in. I'll check in with them. So I'm big on that. Like, anybody know that if they want my help, like, I'm always be accessible. I just got an open door policy. If you want the help, I'm willing to take the time to give you whatever you're looking for.
That's dope. That's dope. So how do you find time to do all these things? Like I had mentioned earlier on, you're a father, a husband, you have a career, you have a sweet life, like you mentor, like how you balance all these things, or are you balancing?
It's a good question. I work better when I have a lot to do. It's just helped me manage my time. And so I'm just very organized, right? Like me and my wife, when it comes to anything we need to do, we send each other calendar invites. So if it ain't on the calendar, it ain't getting done. So that's a big thing, just putting it on the calendar, being intentional about what I want to go after. Like we set goals for ourselves. So then we have meetings on the weekends. Hey, how are we doing? Keeping ourselves accountable. And that's why I think it's important to have a partner, because again, like that person in your life should be able to elevate you and should want more, and you should want more out of them. And so that's how I'm able to manage my time. I know it sounds like a lot, but really it has become a part of who I am. So it really just feels normal, like to be completely honest with you.
No, most definitely. I can identify with that. Being able to have a partner who has co-hosted this show with me, who believes in the show, is also my executive producer. And I'm not just saying that because she's sitting right behind me, but I'm saying it because I really appreciate her partnership and support. And I think it definitely goes a long way in terms of, like you said, both of y'all got goals. Y'all are a unit. Y'all a family. However, y'all are 2 individuals that came together. So it's like, y'all not the same person. So y'all got different goals, different ambitions for yourselves, of course, for the family, things like that. So it's definitely important to be able to understand those things. It's like, look, where can I lean in and help you at? How can you lean in and help me? So I think that, that's definitely huge.
Absolutely.
And moving forward with Sweet Life, with life in general, what's the big picture? What do you kind of see in your crystal ball for all these wonderful things that you're starting? Like you said, you were able to go through Capital Connect, which is a program through MBBA. And then also we won a grant together at the end of December, at the end of the year. So, it's up, not down. But what do you see on the horizon for you? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, so ideally, I would love to focus on Sweet Life full time. Excuse me. Personally, right now, I'm able to manage it between, working full time because a lot of what I do is by appointment only, right? So typically I'm meeting with clients outside of work hours or on the weekends. So it's not necessarily conflicting with my regular job. But what I would like to do is have some form of like celebrity or athlete that can really promote my brand. Like I talked about like Ryan Clark and Andre Julius, right? And how he uses him as a way to market his business, right? And so that would be ideal for me. I'm pretty connected with, Michigan State, University of Michigan. So something like that, I think, would be a diving board, if you will. And then from there, it's really just a matter of what God has in plan. I've been real big on focusing on growing my spiritual relationship with God. And so really, I'm just doing the work, and however God wants things to line up, I'm sure it'll happen when he best see fit. So
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. I want you to talk to your camera, and I want you to tell the people why they need to tap in with you. The celebrities, the athletes, tell them if they catch this episode, why they need to tap in with Mario McLean.
Hey, man, y'all need to tap in with me. One, I feel like I'm very authentic. I have a passion for fashion. I'm big on bringing whatever that vision is to life. And, man, most importantly, I really want you to feel confident, right? Well, like when I wear a suit, I carry myself a certain way. And I think there's a lot of people out there that do not have a suit. When you put that first suit on, you're going to be like, man, I want more and more. Prime example, I just had a female client. I just did her birthday dress or birthday suit. She put it on, man. She's been sending me more like, I want this one. I want this one. And so that's really what it's about, man. Like you coming to me with a vision and you bringing it to life. So tap in with Sweet Life and hey, let's get it.
Love it. Now, what's all the handles so they can get in touch with you? Yo, how can they contact you?
Yeah, so you can contact me. My personal Instagram is Mario, Mario, .McLean, McLean. My business page is Sweet Life Accessories, SuiteLifeAccessories. He gonna put that in the video. I know it's a little long. Website is sweetlifeaccessories.com. So pretty straightforward there. So,
Fire. Any words of wisdom or anything that you can speak life into the people that's listening, watching as we get up out of here?
Yeah. So my words of wisdom is, man, everything in life happens for a reason, right? Every mistake that you go through, every success. And so really it's important to be you, right? Like we put on this earth to figure out like what our vision is, what our mission is. And so just be you at the end of the day, right? Like don't try to be anybody else. And that's the one thing I enjoy about custom clothing is like you have the ability to be who you want to be, and we can bring that to life. So at the end of the day, just be you, man. Don't try to be nobody else. They busy doing themselves, so you should be busy doing yourself as well.
That's A1, man. Mario, I appreciate you coming on the podcast today, my brother. This was amazing. Love to see the work that you've been doing in the community and then also what you're doing with Sweet Life as well. I can see the vision. I can see the passion. And I know you're going to be successful, man. And I know that you're going to just keep moving forward like you have been, elevating, growing. And yeah, man, it's going to be something amazing.
I appreciate you. And thank you for having me on the show, man.
Of course. And I ain't ready yet, but when I am ready, I'm coming to see you to get a suit. I'm letting you know right now, I'm coming to you and we're gonna do the suit consultation and you got to put me in something nice.
Hey, let's lock in, bro.
For sure. Everybody watching, we're going to tap in with y'all soon. Peace.